Some are calling him the Terry Fox of the freedom movement in Canada. A Canadian Armed Forces veteran, Mr. James Topp, has been marching over 100 days from Vancouver all the way to Ottawa. He's currently in Ontario, and I catch up with him in this report. But you might not have known anything about this because the legacy media doesn't seem all that interested in telling the public about it. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News. You're about to catch up with the latest of where Mr. James Topp is. He's made his journey towards Ottawa, and he's also made a plea to have a discussion with members of parliament about ending COVID-19 restrictions and government overreach. Before I jump into this report, if you're new to Rebel News, you might not know that we bring you the news and the latest on current affairs that the legacy media tends to ignore. And that includes the impressive amount of kilometers that Mr. Topp and some others with him have made from Vancouver, where I first met up with him, to all the way to Ontario on foot. That's right. The legacy media has only put out reports, from what I can see as far as a whole, about how he has been in trouble. He has a conduct charge for speaking out for freedoms in Canada while wearing his uniform. We're going to catch up with him right now, and that's certainly not going to be the last report on Mr. Topp, because Rebel News is going to make sure you're informed of when he actually arrives to Parliament. And so if you want to keep in touch and not miss any of those reports, you can follow us at rebelnews.com and make sure to give us your email so you don't lose touch.
All right, there you are, marching away. You've got some people with you. Now, I did catch up with you at the end of the day of your first march. You're looking really good. You're still alive. Tell us where you are now, how far you guys have come, and how you're feeling.
To answer the last question first, I feel great. We've come almost 4,000 kilometers, probably in the ballpark of 3,700 kilometers so far.
Wow.
Yeah, give or take. And it's been 114 days as of today. And we left on February the 20th, right?
Right.
So it's been an amazing journey. We're just out, I would say, approximately 100 kilometers east of Sudbury, Ontario.
Wow.
So that's where we're at. Over the course of the last 114 days, we've marched within 100 kilometers of Sudbury. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is my final destination, so to speak, is 600 kilometers away, approximately.
Now, is that where you're planning to be on June 22nd?
No. So let me just clarify that for everybody. June 22nd was a placeholder date that we had selected. And then, given the nature of this type of travel, there was some miscalculations. So I had to amend the arrival date. But I selected the date of June 22nd to meet with members of Parliament.
Right.
So I am going to keep that date in order to maintain, that consistency, so that they don't have to flip-flop their schedules and whatnot. So basically, what will happen on the 22nd of June? I have called for and arranged a meeting with, I think we're up to 12 or 14 members of Parliament now to speak about the issues that I want to bring forward. And that will happen on the 22nd, wherever I am. I'm going to drive into Ottawa the night before, meet with the members of Parliament, have our meeting, and then I'll drive back to where we concluded, probably in and around the North Bay area, and then complete the march, and then actually march up to the War Memorial on June the 30th. Probably, I'm thinking late afternoon, early evening.
Just in time for Canada Day. Now, I'm going to show a little clip of the letter that you've written to all member of parliaments to come and join you on that day.
To the right honourable member and to the honourable members. This is a letter. Meeting with James Topp from Canada Marches. It is my honour to have been in contact with you thus far. I wish to thank you for your efforts in the House of Commons and for what you do on a daily basis in the business of government. In our previous correspondences that I have attached, I have indicated to you that I would like to meet with you and discuss issues that are affecting myself and millions of Canadians. I am a part of the Canada Marches team. At the time of this writing, the Canada Marches team has marched from the Terry Fox Memorial in downtown Vancouver, 3,500 kilometers, traversing the Rocky Mountains. We have crossed the prairies, walked around Lake Superior on the Canadian Shield to where we presently are near Sault Ste. Marie. We have marched for 105 days. This march has served as a mechanism to attract the attention of the highest offices in our nation. It has served as a mechanism to obtain your participation in a constructive conversation about the issues which are affecting millions of Canadians. We have met with a diverse range of the Canadian population on a daily basis, who have shared their accounts of the hardship they have faced under mandates, who have offered us encouragement, and who have supported us on our journey. This organization has asked for your participation in a meeting. Members of your own constituencies have expressed their desire to see you participate in this discussion.
Now, I couldn't help but notice you're getting some horns honked at you, you're waving. What has the reception been like as you've traveled from Vancouver to where you are now?
Well, pretty much since the beginning. I don't know if you remember, but I had quite a group of people join me in Vancouver, and it's been pretty consistent and growing since we started.
Wow.
So within, on the February the 12th, I was at the rally. The video was made. I made the announcement I was going to do this. Pretty much immediately, I had all kinds of folks online contacting me, wanting to contribute and support in some way, and they did in a number of different ways, like helping me develop the website, social media platforms, and everything else. And then when I made the announcement on February the 20th, you know, I had a number of people meet me in Vancouver. There was a video made of kind of the send-off, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's an amazing story because one of the people that I met on that day, and I did not know him before this, but he's a fellow, or was a fellow service member.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one carrying the phone right now in a gimbal.
Oh.
So, you know, this is, we've been working together now for 114 days.
Oh.
And then it's a pretty amazing story. So we have, there's 12 of us all together, 11 of us on the ground. You know, I'm doing all the marching, but typically the rest of the crew is rotating through.
Wow.
Carrying the flag, taking pictures,
Mm-hmm.
documenting the journey. We have a support vehicle that you know keeps us fed and watered, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's been amazing, you know, with the honking, the people pulling over occasionally to jump out, even in these areas here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uncommon to have folks roll up and offer a contribution in the way of a donation, or even just to say hi and say thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's been steadily, I think, you know, the word is getting out there. The closer we get to Ottawa, I think there's going to be more and more folks who are aware of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you know, despite the suffering of my personal situation, and then, you know, everybody who has suffered under these mandates, like it has been an amazing experience, I have to say. Like the folks I've met along the way, the generosity that I've seen, welcoming with open arms, no questions asked, people inviting us into their homes so that we can save money on accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
It's been remarkable. It's just something that really it's disappointing that more outlets aren't taking notice of it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Because it really is.
That's
like it's unreal. It's 114 days and we managed to keep it together.
Yeah.
Nobody in this group is getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're we're going forward with the help of the Canadian public. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that more people are finding out. That's definitely no thanks to legacy media. When you look up your name on the legacy media outlets, they're just talking about you being charged for a couple of videos you did in your uniform. What can you tell us about that situation?
As a member of the public service as well, working for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police as a civilian, I was, because I have issues with disclosing my medical status and complying with vaccine mandates. I've been placed on leave without pay, and to be told that you're not going to get paid unless you take part in this medical procedure or disclose your status. It's been challenging to deal with, and I'm not the only one in the situation. So I came to realize that I'm not just doing this for my benefit. I'm doing it to raise awareness for everybody else who's in this position.
Right. And so were one of the charges, were they to do
with... Yeah. So I felt, to get back to that, I felt that, this was severe enough violation, ethically, morally, legally, that I should go out and say something and make a stand. And, express my beliefs. Like, I mean, just because I wear a uniform, it doesn't mean it's not a leash or a collar around my neck. I mean, I'm a human being. We all are. We have the right to speak our minds and voice our opinions and ask questions. And that's one of the reasons I felt there was, severe violation of these kind of this ethically, morally, legally, like I said. So I went out in uniform, made my announcement I was going to do this, announced why I was doing it, and then because that is forbidden, so to speak, in the Canadian Armed Forces, to be making that kind of statement in uniform, like really you're not supposed to be appearing in uniform in any real social media. But it happens from time to time. However, the charge that is being laid, sorry, it's kind of a long drawn out answer. The charge that is being laid is on section, it's under section 129 or article 129 under the National Defense Act. So it's not a criminal charge. It's under the National Defense Act, which is typically reserved for members of the armed forces or members of Department of National Defense. So it is the exact, I can never remember the exact wording of it, but it's conduct prejudice to good order and discipline. And there's 2 charges for that. And those charges are not yet, I haven't gone to a summary trial yet. It's still in process. Nothing has, no sentence has been pronounced. And that has been ongoing since February. So for that to have been released, I think it was like the beginning or middle of May, it was kind of old news masquerading as new news. And, it was kind of funny because at no point was anything with regards to all of this mentioned. So that is an interesting point. However, I did get a short piece on with Edmund Solomon, CTV affiliate radio show. And that was kind of an interesting experience. So that is the limit of the kind of exposure I've gotten on the corporate media. And, it doesn't appear that that's going to change anytime soon.
Now, I got to ask you, is one of the incidents that I'm seeing, it says you were in uniform in a video in Surrey, BC. You and I first met in Surrey, BC with your uniform during that same month. Is it the interview you and I did together?
No,
it's something else. Because you were very careful. You were very careful about what you said, I remember, during that.
Yeah, and that's the point of it. Like I said, this was a personal decision.
Yeah.
And I went down there for the purposes of finding a member of the press to have this discussion with, because I didn't think it would be well known that, you know, as an armed forces member, I'm also on the process of being released from the armed forces, not because I made videos in uniform, but because I refused to comply with the Chief of Defense Staff directive on vaccination. And I'm not the only one. There are now a couple of thousand armed forces members being released on what's called an item code 5F.
Wow.
And this is one of the main reasons why I felt it was necessary for me to put that uniform on and go out there, find somebody like yourself. And I was able to have that interview with you, but it was the video that was made by Nem Nemechuk, YouTube channel Cinematic, and he made that kind of went viral of me at the protest where I said all of these things, right?
My name is James Topp. I'm a warrant officer. I served in the regular army for over 25 years. I transferred to the reserves. I got a job with the public service working for the RCMP. I was placed on leave without pay, and I am in the process of being released from the armed forces. I am not authorized to wear this uniform right now. I accept full responsibility for what I am doing and what I am saying, and I am willing to suffer the consequences. This is hard for me. I may suffer repercussions for what I'm doing right now by wearing this uniform out in public. But something needs to be said, and I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people when I say enough is enough.
All right. Now, what can you tell us? Can you give us a few names of who's agreed to meet with you? Which of the member of parliaments have agreed to meet with you on June 22nd?
So I don't have the list in front of me. It's something we're going to be making available shortly.
Okay.
However, at this particular point, I will say they are mostly conservatives, to the tune of, I think it's 12 to 14. Is that right? 17. And one member of the NDP.
Well, congrats to that one member of the NDP. Can't wait to see that list. Where can people find out more? I think it's canadamarches.ca.
That's right. Yeah.
.ca, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to link that below. And if people want to help out, I know the first people to help you out was Olympians Gym in Maple Ridge. But if anybody wants to find out how to do so, they can go to that website. And I believe my colleague, Tamara Ugolini, is going to be reaching out to you next to try to meet up with you somewhere along the way as well. So stay tuned for that.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much. Stay healthy, everybody involved. And keep on going strong.
Will do.
Take care.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That's the latest with James Topp making his journey to Ottawa for freedom. In the description box below, we've linked the full report so you can click there, read more about what he's up to, as well as click on canadamarches.ca, which will be hyperlinked there as well. If you want to keep up to date with what we report here, make sure you give us your information so that you can avoid any type of censorship from big tech, and we can tell you directly when we have a report like this ready for you by going to rebelnews.com. This is a very patriotic report, and if you're a patriot as well, you might want to check out our merchandise at rebelnewsstore.com. Everything you buy there shows that you're a rebel at heart, but also helps contribute to our journalism so that we can afford to continue to bring you reports just like this. So please, if you do your shopping there, know that we are very grateful for your support. Again, that is rebelnewsstore.com.